Next up, we have Harmonic Waves by Chris Husbeck from the Sunset Racer 1X Evolution 2 soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here, musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, I will play a single video game of the choice of the community. We also have members get early access, artists I want to collaborate. I have a whole spiel for this and a bunch of other stuff at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, let's do this. Harmonic Waves. Let's go. Yep, this is 2000s. This is the 2000s. Oh, okay, so we start with three main layers. We have, of course, the bass drum giving us our initial beat. We have a bass giving us an initial a bass synth giving us a bass line, which has a little bit of a melodic theme to it, so it could be our initial motif or it could be our riff. So a motif is the smallest version of your musical idea, the essence from which everything else comes from, which, of course, can be turned into a riff. A riff is what happens when you take a motif, you give it an ostinato. Ostinato is when you play something over and over and over and over again, and then you play that on a guitar or a bass or a keyboard or other contemporary current day band instruments. We're having that going right now, and then we have another synth giving us a little bit more texture mostly. Let's see where this goes. We add one more layer to the percussion, adding a little bit more locomotive sound. There's the motif. That synth has the motif. There you go. And the motif now does a partial sequence. So this motif has a very nice shape of going, being basically two layers, right? So it is a partial arpeggiation. So arpeggiation or arpeggios is when you play a chord one note at a time, and you can do partial arpeggios, right? Because here, for example, is C major, a block in a block chord form, and here it is arpeggiated. However, if I decide, okay, I'm just going to play the first two, this still counts as C major because I'm playing C root and third. If I were to be playing root and fifth, then it becomes a bit more ambiguous. So root and third, we have that, and then we have a partial sequence. So sequencing is a way that you can develop your material in which you repeat melodic shapes from a different starting point. And in this case, what we're doing is that we are keeping the first note where it is, and we're just changing the second note. So an actual sequence, a full sequence, would be, let's grab a C major motif, right? We would take that, we repeat it just from a different starting point. So original, sequence, 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 kind of thing. However, if we do what we did over here, we're doing a partial sequencing where we leave some of the notes repeated in the same spot and we just take the rest and we sequence the rest. So in this case, let's do C. Let's keep that as a pedal. Pedal would be where you do a partial sequence. You got a pedal. The pedal just means that you're holding the note, right? And in this case, we would do a partial pedal. So here we go, the original, sequence, sequence. So we're doing that, and in this case, we're just maybe that, right? So let's see where it goes. Ooh, okay, and now we have a call and response. So very, very subtle, kind of in the back. We have another synth that is playing a little bit of a response. So call and response being another thing that can happen in music. Call and response is a musical conversation, basically, that you can have between two layers of music, where when one starts, it plays. When it ends, the other one starts in response. When that one ends, the other one starts, back and forth, call and response. So we're having that, and we're having this done basically from the high end to the low end. We're having something like this, like... Something like that. We're having something like that where you can very clearly hear each individual one. Is that a bit of Mortal Kombat? It could be. It could be something similar. It could be a similar motif. Like, don't forget that many motifs will overlap. There are many motifs that will overlap in many ways, especially in early 2000s musics, when a lot of the synths would have very similar sounds. Let's see where this goes. And so now we have a higher melody with a siren at the top. So now we have a very slow melody. So yes, we now have a melody. I think it's doing an elongated version of the motif. So elongation is when you slow something down. And in this case, I think we're taking the high point of the motif that we were doing. And instead of doing that, we're just now holding the notes slower because they're elongated, while the rest of the beat is doing its thing. Let's see where it goes. Arpeggio's going downwards, very nice. Arpeggio going downward again. Now we're doing it again, we're doing it faster. It has been a while, yes. Oh, we bring back the original motif. Now we're doing a sequence in the other way as before. Being accentuated a little bit by the bass. The bass is keeping the same rhythm. Nice. We repeat that again, very nice. And every once in a while we get a higher synth, giving us a little bit of extra texture. Change the chords a little bit, but we keep the same melodies. We keep sequencing, partial sequence, and so now we're playing a more complicated version of the motif. We are basically adding the full arpeggio of the notes, but while still keeping the same overall idea. Not that much is changing, but the fact that we're just adding the extra arpeggio is giving it more escalation. It sounds cool. Let's see where it goes. So the focus is always those top notes. Those top notes are the melody that you want. Everything else is the arpeggios. Everything else is the arpeggios that are acting as accompaniment or adornment. This is something that, for example, Beethoven did probably the best with his Moonlight Sonata, right? So Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, where the melody itself is not the most interesting, especially in the first movement, right? So Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven. If you hear the first movement, the melody of the first movement of the Moonlight Sonata, right? The actual melody. That is actually the melody, but what happens? We have the other arpeggios happening at the same time, right? So we have, wait. And then it continues going, right? So, and yes, Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven is in C sharp minor, which is also the same key signature as Chopin's Fantasie Impromptu in C sharp minor by Chopin, which is a very different piece. That one is a really good example of 3 versus 4 polyrhythm. I think I can play the first two bars or something. I have the keyboard in a very awkward position, and I'm not a piano player. Yeah, no, I can't do this. Not with hands like this. Like, I have another keyboard where I can do this a little bit better. But yeah, like the melody, very fast and played in C sharp minor. Many composers really liked using C sharp minor as stuff for their solo, more virtuoso, because practical. The black keys in the keyboard are a little bit more raised, so they are easier to access. They're easier to access, so yeah, very they're easier to access in that sense, and that's mainly why they use them, because C# minor is more convenient on the piano for these kinds of things. Kind of like for guitarists, E minor or A minor are very convenient keys for them as well. Yeah, same reasoning. It's just because it's more convenient with the instrument. And yeah, for in my case, one, I'm not a piano player. Two, the keyboard that I have here is like very sunk into the, not sunk, but like pushed back, and it's right under the monitor. So there's like what, maybe 5 centimeters, like 2 inches between the lower end of the monitor and the black keys. So yeah, no, I'm absolutely 100% not able to play the keyboard in general, and then this. So yeah, anyway, yeah, we're having this going on the arpeggios. Let's see where it goes. That melody being accentuated very nicely. Even though we have all the other arpeggios, we're repeating mostly what we were doing before, just now with more higher notes, more climactic, and switching over now to the high melody variation of it, sounding a little bit more like a solo. So now we're bringing this other instrument, this other synth, sounding a little bit more like a solo rather than just the melody. So we're doing still a variation of the melody that we've had before. This time we're just playing it a little bit more like a solo, because when it comes to music, you want to keep a careful balance between what is familiar and what is new. Too much familiarity, too much repetition, too much of the same thing, you risk boring the listener, they tune out. Too much new material too quickly, you risk overwhelming the listener, they tune out. The one universal exception, regardless of genre, is solos. You put a solo and it sounds cool enough and it sounds like it fits enough, you can get away with whatever you want. And in this case, of course, we are having a little bit of that while having one of the variations that we already did before. We're just adding a couple of extra notes here and there. Let's see where it goes. And we repeat. Yep, we repeat. Yep, we're adding one more note now at the bottom. Oh, we sequence it there. Okay, so now we sequenced and inverted. So another way that you can develop your material is by inversion. Inversion is when you play something upside down. So we sequenced and inverted. So if we were to do, and let's talk about inversion first. So inversion, as I said, playing something upside down. So here's C major, right? The very, very simple one. And then inversion. However, if we were to combine the concepts of inversion and sequencing, so we sequence an inversion, we could create something like this, where we change where the starting point of the other one is. So we're doing something like that. In this case, we're doing it the other way around. We have the first one kind of thing. What cues today? We have live cue left today, and then we're gaming. Anyway, let's see where this goes. It's got 30 seconds left. How are you going to end this? So we're adding the arpeggios that we had before. Giving a little bit more focus to the bass. We have a synth in the back, very, very subtle, giving us that melody in the background, while we are now mostly focusing on the rhythm section, enjoying that really cool beat or groove that we got going on. Let's see where this goes. Okay, so we're removing layers a little bit. How are you gonna end this? Alright, we speed it up and we end with that high note. We play the drums one more time. We let it echo out. And there you have it. There you go. That was Harmonic Waves by Chris Hulsbeck from the Sunset Racer 1X Evolution 2 soundtrack. Ask me again in a little bit, Divas. Let me just do this. Once again, everybody, this has been the Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here musically. So, If you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Why does your hair look like a slide? Because you're hallucinating. So, once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which is not very likely, we're in November, so... If it can still happen, it's not very likely. If it happens, I will play a single video game of the choice of the community live on stream. Whatever y'all vote for, in addition to the fanfiction audiobook. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alt accounting, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the videos, the streams with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very different terms, by the way. Share them with your online and offline communities. Use the hype function on YouTube. I don't know how it works, but we have a group on the Discord that does. Go coordinate with them. Link down below. Yes, artists. I want to collaborate with anyone and everyone. If you're an artist on YouTube, musician or otherwise, and you want any of my musical skills, whether it is my guitars, my Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old thing, or my voice acting, regular singing, whatever it is, just reach out, let me know, and we will make it happen. And if you're in the audience and you know anybody who could benefit, just reach out, let them know. Please do not harass anyone. Please do not spam anyone. Be cool about it. Don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. Evan, thank you for the euro. I'm gonna take care of that in a moment. Yes, LFAs, they're scheduled, yes. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you're not in the live stream, check the pinned comment on this video, which has the instructions on what to do. If you're in the stream, you can go ahead and start requesting for the final of the day. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you are not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. Both are linked down below. So, if you live in Antelope and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Do not worry. Just go to the Discord or the Twitch. They both have the schedule in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. They get recorded live on stream on the after show, and then the recordings go on the gaming channel. Link down below, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. There you go. That was Harmonic Waves, Sunset Racer. That was very much a racing soundtrack. Really good stuff from the early 2000s. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on.